gauging how many calories I'm taking in outside of what I have prepared for the week. So it's just like, for the 2 weeks. So I finally told Mandy, no, I put on a pound for the first time on keto. Don't buy anything. I'll go through whatever we have. And after that, unlimited my fat bombs. That's healthier. I need to learn to appreciate feeling hunger. Like the thought of hunger means I'm losing weight. Like I still have to eat my fat bomb for the day. Or technically it's like a little bit, because it, you know, it only fits into an ice cube size block of calories. Fat, mostly. So it's not like I'm going to starve myself, but I do have to appreciate, no, hunger means you're losing weight. Just positive feedback loop. Hunger means you are losing weight. You cannot break the second law of thermodynamics. If you do not eat more calories, you cannot gain more weight. And kimchi. I don't know that I've ever had kimchi, Rizino. Right, says, I'm alive because death doesn't want to deal with my bull, so it keeps me at a distance. There's actually a very nasty restraining order trial going on right now. Wait, there's 2 kiss ducks? No. No. That's an imposter duck. Oh, it's whatever it bumps into. It's imposter duck. Impost duck. Makes it sound like it's made of pasta. I guess it could. Boop. Oh, it didn't change back into kiss duck. No, it doesn't look like it. I wonder if there's like time limit between how often it can switch back and forth. Let's find out. It's going to bump again. Yeah, it looks like it's like 30 seconds or so, at least. You can see actual kiss duck versus cloth. So that just looks like a clown. Fox duck. Yeah, fox duck's still stuck duck. He's rocking back and forth all the same. He just wanted to get away from little ducks that were following him. They're down there. You can't see them right now. It's for the best. What is this other duck? Duck nut. Donut duck. I don't even know which. There were a couple of tongue twisters in there, so I'm not even sure. Fox duck, stuck duck. Yeah, I know. That would not succeed. New duck. I keep thinking, okay, you change the game, play something else, but so far nobody's suggested wanting to see something else. If everybody's cool with this and just chatting, I will do so. Paddle, no boost. Fox duck needs a boost. It says kimchi is an acquired taste. Apparently, I like it, but a lot I know don't. It's fermented cabbage, right? Last I checked. Yeah, I don't know that I've tried it, but cabbage works really well for keto, so I probably should. I know a lot of people just don't like cabbage in general. It's not like everybody's like, oh yeah, it's my go-to snack food, cabbage. But like any kind of slaw, sauerkraut, stuff like that, I don't have a problem doing it. I'm also one of the people that you can ask Mandy how the way I eat salads, if I just tell her to keep getting lettuce, is I will just smash it against the counter, pull the core out, cut it in half, and then just grab half of it, or ranch dressing, bacon, and cheese on it, and then just eat it. I don't even use utensils because it makes it so I don't have to do the dishes as much. So I have no problem eating like half a head of lettuce as long as it's got... Frankly, I don't need the other stuff. A little bit of ranch dressing goes a long way. I bet you that's what's put the weight on. Proudlon Wolf says, fun fact, you can get plastic lids for Spam cans you don't finish all at once. Imagine not finishing an entire can of Spam. I'm joking, I don't. But it's apparently from just one company in South Korea. They have a storefront on eBay. We have little... Mandy has silicone lids, but I guess most cans are about the same size. So she just has stuff like that, where she'll seal it. For me, Spam doesn't last long enough once I've opened it. But what I'll do is I'll just peel back the can like halfway, eat, quarter to half the can and then just put the lid back down and then throw it in the fridge, and it doesn't dry out fast enough because I'm just going to eat the rest the next day. Now that I think about it, eating that can of Spam, which is currently sitting in the sink because I was like, I'm going to use this for something in the diorama. You may not see the can at all, but it's going to fill out part of something just to say that I used an empty can of Spam in our diorama. That's about a pound worth of food or so. That's probably where I gained that pound from because I should not have eaten that. It wasn't in a single sitting, but I don't remember when I did that because it couldn't have been on Sunday. I wasn't feeling well on Sunday. I didn't eat much of anything on Sunday. I wasn't awake for most of it. Yeah, as Ray says, Ziplocs would work just as well. It's the proper way to eat cabbage or lettuce. I was doing it because I was like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm just going to throw some lettuce on my stomach, lettuce and water, and that way I'm not hungry anymore. But all that seems to have done is just expanded my stomach, so I'm hungry more often. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to the whole, not eating very much. That plan will probably work out for me. I need to sanitize the, what I really need to do is make it so that I can see what I'm streaming and see chat from a little device that I'm carrying around. And then sanitize, because so frequently I have to be like, all right, I have to go do adult shit. And I just want to go like, no, I'll just keep the stream going and then go do that. But like the upstairs isn't sanitized and I don't want to dox myself. Not that any of you will probably be a problem. I highly suspect that's not an issue, but it's not the people that aren't going to be a problem. It's that being in a VOD and someone being a entirely too much of a fan, shall we say. Those are the problems, and that's the reason you have to be real careful about doxing yourself. But if I did do that, like the dishes always need done. I could go up and do the dishes. We have a sink down here. I should just start doing my dishes down here. Holy shit. Why did that take so long to come up with? Mostly because generally the coffee mugs and shit don't come down here. And that's why. And the thing is, I would be, like, my entire background was in paranoia. For a long time, I didn't have my face online. But then we started doing public appearances, getting invited to conventions and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, that's out of the window now. So I guess I could just put my stuff online. But we still didn't place, we didn't tell anybody where we lived outside of, like, the District of Columbia. And we only said that because people know where that is. And we were actually in Northern Virginia. But if you tell somebody in an international community that you're in, like, nobody knows outside. Everybody knows where Washington, D.C. is. The seat of power for one of the superpowers of the world. It's like saying Moscow. Everybody knows where that is. You try to say, like, the suburbs of it or something, it's just easier to say you're in D.C. Most people don't care much closer than that. But then we had a superfan situation where I'm like, we are not big enough or popular enough to deserve this level of attention. Why is this our level of luck where we already have to deal with this? And it was getting a little more dangerous than I wanted it to be. Yeah, exactly, Below. I mean, in Alaska, you're even better off there. I just realized there's meteorites in the sky occasionally. It's a nice touch. Yeah, Alaska being fucking-hugic. Like, how big is Alaska compared to all of Europe? Roughly proportionate? So if you say you're in Alaska, I mean, granted, it's like if you say you're in Canada. People know that, like, only 2% of the population live in the middle of Canada, for example. So anywhere else, you're probably right along the edge of the United States. But it's still a big fucking area. And in Alaska, you're probably in Juneau or Anchorage. But even that is still a big area. There are a lot of more rural areas outside of that. And what is most people going to do with this information? Probably nothing, which those are the good people, because that's exactly what you should do with that information. The reason you don't tell anybody is because this, like, fraction of a percent is someone will do something stupid because they can. Raz says, I have a safety in numbers being a Juan in California. Yeah, I kind of accept the fact that my first name's Fox. Like, there's not a lot of those. Too much. Exactly, Rizzuno. Too much effort, but some people can get disturbingly fixated on things. And generally, if they're getting disturbingly fixated on you, they're probably disturbingly fixated on other things, or at least that was in our situation. And yeah, it was not good. But that's why we take steps not to dox ourselves. I'm trying to think of a good way, because otherwise we'd be carrying dishes up and down the stairs all the time, and that really doesn't work. So realistically, I should just I'll just install a camera over top of the sink. It's like a fixed camera, so I can chat with y'all and just have a screen in front of it while I go through and do the dishes. No, I mean, dishes don't take that long, but for whatever reason, doing the dishes, panic attacks are weird, and I've learned that doing the dishes sets me off for some reason. But it depends on how much stress I've had during the day. It depends on how much caffeine I've had during the day. It seems like it's just the RPMs that my system is running at, which you would think that RPMs would transfer into actual energy to get stuff done. But I've since learned that no, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, because you can. It's like your transfer case is just cracked or something, and stuff isn't working right, and you're just revving the engine, but you're not going anywhere, and that heats up the engine and it's getting you to red line. And the worst part is when you're emotionally blended, you don't feel that stuff, and you're just trying to push yourself to get shit done. Do what you've always done your entire life, just get shit done. And as a matter of fact, the first time I had a panic attack, it was when I was doing the dishes. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I just knew my entire body went into fight or flight mode. It was like stuck in that first phase of fight or flight mode, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do the dishes. I couldn't do anything except kind of freak out, have really big adrenaline spikes, and then finally sit down. When I figured out what it was, you just do some grounding exercises, and that turned it off. How did wireframe duck get inside? Oh, he probably got shot out through the tube. Anyway, so my immediate solution, being a machine, was, all right, I'll do some grounding exercises and get rid of it now that I know what it is. And I got rid of it really fast. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go back and do the dishes. Immediately had a panic attack again. So I couldn't do anything. I could stop being in a panic attack, but I could not accomplish anything. And that's kind of what stopped everything for a while. Streaming, other things. For whatever reason, streaming is not giving me a panic attack at all. But some other things can. And the depression just makes me really tired. So at times it's hard to accomplish anything, and I was furious for a long time. Because, again, you're not feeling those sorts of emotions. It's just suddenly you're having a panic attack, and you're like, God damn it. It's like cutting yourself. For those of you who work in, like, garages or any kind of blue-collar stuff, honestly, I don't know if it's the same for everybody else. If you're, like, working with something, and then you cut yourself, it's like, it's annoying, but now you're bleeding. And now your blood's going to transfer into your clothes. That's not going to come out. It's going to transfer into whatever you're working on. So now it's like, ow, yeah, that hurt. But also, that really doesn't bother me nearly as much as the fact that now I have to stop working because I have to treat this wound. Only because, like, if I bled water or something and it wasn't going to bother what I was working on, I just keep fucking going. It's the practical side of things. Yeah, apparently I pushed myself to the point that my body was done with my dumb shit. But maybe if I was talking with somebody else while I was doing the dishes, it wouldn't bother me as much. The real trick is being able to afford all of those cameras for each situation. It's the game of, can I not bleed on whatever I'm sewing for someone? Yeah, Clockwork. I used to do what I call Leatherman surgery. Which was if there's like a splinter or something like that, you just pull out your Leatherman and try to get that off of that. And then when you're done, especially back when I was building computers, because the sides of the computers here weren't always rounded, depending on how expensive the case was. So you'd slice yourself open on the edges. And I would just grab a paper towel, fold it over a couple times, wrap it around, grab a zip tie, pull it tight, clip off the end, and then get back to work. Because it was just, I just need to not be damaging what I'm working on with blood. And then when I quit bleeding, you could just go back to whatever the hell it was you were doing. Which I suppose is part of the problem, is if you're focusing entirely too much on... I was very efficient. I still am very efficient. Or, well, I guess I used to be very efficient. Back when I could get shit done, as opposed to just being tired all the damn time. Now I'm just pouring nitrous into the engine, not understanding that if the transmission isn't there, no power is going to those wheels. All you're doing is blowing out the engine again, which when the what's name is working, when the transmission is working, congratulations, now you're just unconscious because you blew out the engine again, you fucking idiot. It's just hard to remember that over the course of days, weeks. You're not always thinking about that. There's too many moving parts. Right, it says, I just threw some hand sanitizer on the cuts. That caused enough trauma to the skin that it stopped bleeding. I used to have the, what's it called? The armor stuff. Basically super glue, or medical super glue. And it hurts like hell, but it stops the bleeding. The problem is it also seems to come off really quick. Get one of those baskets on a pulley. I was thinking, yeah, a dumbwaiter for dishes, just to bring them downstairs. That would just make the channel of that. The problem is they're on the opposite side of the house. The two sinks. Like one sink is on that side, one sink is on this side. It was not a proper cosplay if somebody didn't bleed on the making of it. Blue says I just use rags and electrical tape. I haven't had to use a full rag before. Yes, because it's... Rice says, oh yeah, I used to use Quick Clot. Hurts more than the actual wound. Yes, because that is actual chemical cauterization. Do not use that stuff. That is for... Your... that is supposed to be for, like, trauma bags. That is your... If you do not stop the bleeding, you are going to die levels of shit. Quick Clot hurts a lot. Especially on big wounds. The crafting gods require a blood sacrifice. Yeah, no, we have... It's probably expired by now. But we have Quick Clot around. I probably need to refresh the amount. But that was just because, again, if you're driving around in a cop car that you're not supposed to have, if you come across... Like, I can't think of something... few things worse than coming across somebody who is literally bleeding out and you don't have some way to save them or at least help, because somebody's going to flag you down thinking you're a cop. Like, I've had it happen. I've had firefighters like direct me where to park when I came out to check on why my power was out, and I was like, nope, and I just turned around and saw a very confused firefighter wondering where the fuck the cop was going, because I was the second person on the scene. The fire truck showed up first, and then he was like, the fuck's why is he leaving? And I'm like, not a cop, not a cop, not a cop. Bye. Yeah, if people expect you to be able to do something, even if you're like, you know, you deny the role. Oh, everybody's getting stuck up top because the flamingo is blocking the pool. Pool's closed. It doesn't matter if somebody's like, oh, all that matters in a situation where people need help is that whether or not you can help. And if people expect you to be able to help, it's just a really shitty feeling to come out and be like, yeah, I'm not actually a cop. I can't help. I mean, I've been dressed up as a Zootopia cosplayer and at a convention before and had people pull me over because somebody was bleeding. And I'm like, I don't have any gloves. So all we can really do is the person who is already pinching the wound needs to go to medical. Come with me. We can... Oh, hotel has already... Do you fucking mind? That is way too loud for as far away as you are. hotel security or staff or something has already come over and they're walking them over. And I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't have to do anything because I didn't keep rubber gloves in my tack belt because why the fuck would I? I wasn't expecting to come across somebody bleeding at a convention. Afterwards, yes, I started keeping gloves in my tack belt. It's one thing if you're bleeding. It's another thing if somebody else is bleeding because you don't know what's in their blood. It wasn't even bad. Like, she was drunk off her ass. She was clearly not feeling any pain. But she was also not... She was not combative, but she was not cooperative. And it was just trying to... Okay, can we please stop the blood from going all over the place? And it was right in the hotel lobby. And I'm like, why did I get... Oh, right, because I'm dressed as a cop. Why did you come to me? Rice says, I used it when I sliced open my knuckle and regretted it instantly. But I had to since it wouldn't stop bleeding. Rez, can you still... Did you get a scar from that? Do you still see where you sliced open your knuckle? I've heard so many horror stories about Quick Clot, I never used it. Yeah, I was about to say, if you use Quick Clot, you are going to have a scar. Like, there's no way to fix that because it is literally chemically cauterizing it. You might as well, at that point, you might as well walk over to a stove and just press the flesh against it. You're going to have a scar. Raz is like, yeah, LOL. Is that Disco Duck? I don't think it was Disco Duck. Oh, I think that is Disco Duck. Or maybe it's just Metallic Duck. Bone Duck. Crossword Duck. What the hell was that? What's Disco Duck? Yeah, that's why, again, Quick Clot is only designed for life or death trauma situations because it's not, you're going to have a bad time, honestly. It's not expensive to keep around either. Like, it comes in a pack about yay big. It's, I want to say it's good for, it's got a shelf life of 5 years, so it's basically an MRE. And it's not inexpensive. Did you have like a mini Quick Clot bag or something? Because I've never seen them sold other than like a little brick of Quick Clot. And the idea is just, it's for like thoracic wounds, you know, I guess abdominal too. Anywhere you're bleeding and you can't get pressure and it just, you have to do it. And so it's largely for like combat situations where you're trying to stop bleeding quickly, or you just don't have somewhere that someone can be a quick response and you just have to stop the bleeding, or at the very least keep it inside of the body. I didn't know it came in little toothpaste tubes. I guess in fairness, any way that I was looking at it was, I would hope I never would have to use this, and I can't see where I would need like a tiny... Most of the time you just wind up using a tourniquet or something. Like, what's the ones the Israelis made? There's a quick tourniquet that you can get, and you just twist it down, wrap it around whichever extremity. When it comes to thorax, this is all like really basic stuff that like civvies could do. An EMT would give you a much better... An EMT also has a lot more tools available to them. But we had stuff in the cruiser for like a sucking chest wound, and anything else was Quick Clot for like chest, and then only if pressure wasn't going to be able to do it. Because it's hard with with limbs, it's pretty easy, and you can tourniquet most stuff. We also had like what the fuck are they called? The thing to lock the mouth open. We also had breathing tube stuff. We had a bunch of things in the trauma kit. They're probably all... I mean, the plastic isn't going to expire, but all the other stuff. The Quick Clot was just like, if there was bleeding and it wasn't internal, and there was nothing else that you could do because it's on the torso, and pressure wasn't doing it, that was when you would fall back to Quick Clot. And we never used it because we live somewhere that fire and medical will show up in under 5 minutes. So it would have to be really bad. Can you bleed out in under 5 minutes? Yeah. Can you bleed out with pressure? I mean, I guess it's possible, but the only thing that's going to make things worse is try to use Quick Clot on somebody who is already freaking out because they're bleeding out, and now you're applying that much more pain to them from the feeling of chemically cauterizing a wound. Yep. Yeah, anything absorbent. I mean, you're basically, if there's a wound, you pack it with cotton, and then you pack gauze on top of that, and then you apply pressure. The whole idea is that you're just trying to stop blood from leaving the body. When you're compressing it, you're basically trying to compress, or such is my understanding from the very little medical training that I went through, talking to EMTs, was you're trying to constrict any of the blood vessels or, God forbid, arteries that were severed and are causing a bleed. Because if you're compressing them, then blood isn't going through them. If you can literally get it clean enough, you can like compress it enough to pull back and see an artery that is bleeding, you'd actually want to pinch that. Like everything else, sure, you put pressure on that if you can, but that is a bigger goddamn deal. Because that is removing blood from the body, and bodies need that, generally. I've fortunately never been in a situation where I've had to deal with that before. The worst wound I've seen and helped with was like so basic. It was an older lady had fallen and she fell right on her glasses and they broke and then jabbed into her, and it looked way worse than it was. We just told her, don't move, block traffic, waited for first responders to show up. They took care of it. The blood vessels are very close. Like they run very close to the skin. So if somebody's bleeding from their face, like we've all seen nosebleeds, they look like they're absolutely horrible and they're going everywhere and there's so much blood. It's really not that much. It looks worse than it is. You need a lot of blood. Just kind of covers everything in the way, just the way it works. So a little bit of blood can wind up looking like an awful lot, and especially if it's from a head wound. So yeah, you still want to apply pressure to stop it, obviously, but don't panic. Don't ever panic. Yeah, Raz, compression bandages. He says, I carry a tourniquet with me to work because I don't trust the forklift drivers. It's not a bad thing. And the tourniquets, especially the compression tourniquets, they're not heavy. Rainbow duck. I don't think the flamingo is going to let anybody else back down there. The flamingo is being forced into the slide the same way all the other ducks are, and therefore has blocked off the slide from all other access. What? Who's? I really expect this to be just a... Like, I was like, okay, after 2 hours, we'll have like 8 people in chat. And I'll wrap that up and we'll go back to, I'll go do adult things. And I was like, we'll do just chat, put up the duck. Nobody likes just chatting, right? No, it's not that big of a deal. And we have like double the amount of people. So I'm like, why are you watching? Why is this entertaining to you? How can this be entertaining to you? We're talking about trauma kits and shit. This is like as exciting as talking about fire extinguishers. These are just things that I have come to accept as things you need to have in your home, because otherwise bad things can happen. My background is bad things happen, so be prepared for them. Fire extinguishers aren't interesting to talk about. Fire extinguishers are kind of like Quick Clot. You generally do not want to have to use them because, Jesus Christ, they make a mess. Hey, American Marv. Welcome back. American Marv, if you're in America, then I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, we're just kind of taking it easy. We did some America playing on Saturday, playing Ready or Not. And Sunday, we take Sundays off because, well, I try to get stuff done instead of just slept. And today I was like, yeah, let's figure out something to do. And Blue was like, why don't we do the duck game while we do some just chatting? Mine is of the feline variety? Feline variety of forklifts or tourniquets? I am clearly missing the pun here. The boat is back. I guess I could technically just take all of the dishes, put them into a plastic bin, and then bring them downstairs and wash them down here. I mean, it would be a big extra step, but I could do it on stream. I could also just sanitize. I think the only things that need sanitized are the fridge. So if I walked upstairs, my bigger concern would be that I need an access point on the top floor. Yeah, Marv, how did your Memorial Day weekend go? Unless you worked today. I don't think nearly as many people get Memorial Day off as a lot of people think. Like, yeah, it's a national holiday, but you know people who work for Amazon are still working. Did you go to your grocery store? Because you know those people were running maybe reduced hours if they were lucky. Why are we trapped inside of whatever we're trapped in? Oh, that was an inflatable palm tree. But yeah, for those of you who haven't said yet, what's good? What recently happened that worked out well for you? I need to finish up. So I'm going to go with even like partial victories work well. Because I'm not finished building the bed frame for Manny. I want to get that done tonight. Because most of it's drilling and honestly what's going to take the longest is probably finding all of the components of my bolts to bolt that stuff together. But that's a partial victory. All the cuts got done. I've learned I'm far less capable after, well, a couple of years ago. We really need to hear the boat. Huh. I'm gonna check something real quick. Reading through chat, reading through the names in the list here. I'll say again, hello to some of the lurkers out there. Some of you interesting names. Thanks for hanging out. That said, we are past 10 p.m. on the East Coast. I said I was going to join to chat it up with people. Is that a good thing, Raz? Oh, it's good that you've learned why, is what I'm assuming that you're saying. Raz says, I learned that my bank froze my savings account for inactivity, even though they specifically told me not to touch it because it was collateral for a loan. So that got me going for me. It's something. I'm assuming that before you learned that it was froze and you didn't know why, and it is now good that you have since learned why. That's positive. Yeah, at least I know now. I'm slightly less irritated. Or maybe you're more irritated. It's hard to say. Christ, that was loud. But the world's biggest duck? What the hell? I'm thinking about what projects I could possibly work on, but until I can see the stream, which is going to require another Raspberry Pi, at the same time as I can see chat, that really doesn't work out. I'm slightly less irritated now that I know the reason that it was that my my bank account was frozen. I mean, I guess it didn't change anything. You weren't touching it anyway, right? It's frozen for both of your safety. I guess what I should just set as a goal for tonight is at least get the bed frame for Manny's box spring configured, set up as best that I can. Move the access point so that it has better coverage, and at the very least, sanitize the boxes down here because they have to be broken down. And that way, it could be a like past 10 Fox After Dark helmet cam stream sort of thing in the future. What the fuck is that? It's a jousting duck. I have not seen that one before. That's the one we're starting with in the future. Is it a UFO duck? No, that's got to be disco duck still. Why are we underwater? Oh, because we're looking at the underwater duck. Yeah, sparkly lights from disco duck. That was Invisiduck. That duck just disappeared. Where the hell's my mouse? Give me my mouse back. Yeah, disco duck very bright at night. Who are you? You're kissing. That was just a random splash. There was no duck that even fell through the water there. I think it's closer so I know who the hell I'm looking at. Strawberry duck. Imposter duck. I don't know what you're supposed to be. So we just have broken marble duck. Discord. Key for what? Porno? PPDS. That's not a thing. Rainbow duck. This is a French night duck. This is Norman duck. I didn't know there was a thing. New best duck. That duck is pretty well stuck. Yeah, Norman Ducky. Which basically just means Vikings. Or at least, I guess, Scandinavians. Like the Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxons. You mean the Scandinavians? Kind of? Yes. The British. You mean the previously Scandinavians? Yes. The Normans. You mean the previously Scandinavians? Yes. Like when the Normans fought with the British or the Anglo-Saxons, I'm like, that's just Scandinavians fighting each other. Norman Ducky, you're the one. Norman Ducky, a bird for fun. How the fuck do you even float? You shouldn't stay up here like a boat. Jesus fucking... Norman Ducky solved the problem of the inflatable blocking the pool. So to answer Ed's earlier question, yes, there are objectives. Norman Ducky just came up with one. And fucking solved it. Wait, now it's jammed in there, isn't it? It technically let one out. Now I think it's pretty well stuck, unless a bunch of other people bump into it. Yeah, it looks like Norman Ducky does not fuck around with that jousting spear. That one is not blunted for tournament mode. All hail Norman Ducky. Yeah, we expected great things from them. And at least something has happened. I don't think they're gonna get through it, or do they just float through it now? No, they do bump into it. So they can kind of wiggle it out of the way, and maybe it'll completely sink. Oh, it just disappeared. Norman Ducky doesn't seem to attack the other plastic duckies, or they're just too... Their plastic is too thick. I guess we'll have to watch. The weird thing is, the duck is wearing horse armor. Like, not the helmet. That is very much just a nasal helmet. But all of the cloth that is laid over them is that resembling of what you would throw over a mount. Meanwhile, Fox Ducky remains helpless. Fox Ducky is where it wants to be. Fox Ducky no longer has the responsibilities of interacting with other individuals. The Fox Ducky met its quota, and then was just like, all right, I'm done. So now at this point, we're just watching to see if Norman Ducky pokes another duck. I figure at most it would, like, shoot them off in another direction because they got poked. It just hasn't happened yet. Maybe poke of... Nope. Spinning. Spinning. It's like waiting for the old DVD screensaver sign to hit the corner perfectly. Wait. No. The ducks are just too small. It was much easier for them to hit the flamingo. Wait. I don't know if that counted as a poke. It's awful close, but I don't think it actually poked. I bet at most it just gives like an impulse. I mean, technically, if it ran into it, yeah, it would transfer energy and then therefore act as an impulse through the game. But you know what I mean. Maybe it'd be like twice of one. Because it'd be like, ow, and they'd jump away. On the other hand, they're plastic ducks, so they probably don't feel anything. Presumably, if we just let this go, it would unlock all of the ducks with time. Wait, is that going to touch the... No. Oh, it doesn't look like the jousting arm can hit the other ducks. It just clips right through them. It was only allowed to clip or hit the inflatable. Maybe if the jousting duck hits the inflatable at all, it pops it. I bet there are other ducks that have some sort of sharp edge that will pop inflatables. Yeah, right now? Yeah, it just passes right through the other ducks. Good job, Norman Duck. Who's next up? Who's next, Duck? Who are you? Are you Twilight Zone Duck? I'm gonna go with that. Hypno Duck. Causes seizures. Sitting here like going through my head thinking of what stuff is in the garage and how easy it's going to be to piece together a couple of bolts for assembling wood. I know I kind of focused on 1/2 inch and 3/4 bolts, but I don't know if everything to assemble them or if I'm going to have to cut through some threaded rod to make my own, which isn't hard to do. It's just trying to get all the pieces together to find them. Hi, Bobcat. What does that have to do with striped ducks? I was actually looking, I'm like, oh, who's available to raid? But, well, what's Frenzilla doing? Because I saw that Zach Hazard was up. Zach Hazard's playing Resident Evil 4. If y'all have hung out with me for as long as you have right now, doing what is essentially a chill stream, Resident Evil 4 is not chill. I also don't want to dump you all into a stream that has adverts. Like if we raid, if they have 30-second ads in the beginning and we raid, we bypass those. And that means you won't get any more ads throughout everything. I don't see anybody else doing anything. We have a lava duck? Quack. I bet that would pop stuff too. Just saying. I'm curious to see if that does something with something else. Oh, I know why I don't see them. Because I'm technically logged in as my Fox Curtailed account over here, not my Curtailed Comic account over here. That's fine. It's so complicated being a streamer. Okay, it looks like they have pre-roll ads, so that would mean that we don't get any as we go through and do so. And it looks like Jay Renzilla is painting. We'll get the little stream highlight over to the side. Might be up here. I'll tell you what. We have actually streamed a whopping... Oh, like, as soon as I talk about wrapping up the raid, half of our viewers leave. So that works out perfectly. For those of you who didn't want to join any sort of raid, well, now you won't have to. And this is why, if you're going to keep streaming, you don't mention stuff like that. Because people dip. I'll tell you what, we have gone half an hour past what we were going to. I'm surprised if many people were as pleased to go through and do these sorts of things. We're going to jump by into Renzilla's stream. They're doing a little bit of art, so it'll be another chill vibe. I hope you all can appreciate that. If not, I fully understand. But either way, I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I would keep playing, but I'd have to switch over to a different game because this was actually starting to put me to sleep, and I have to put some really high-speed music into my ears, wake myself up, go sort of do some things. I'm probably going to start putting like 2 sets of earbuds in, one of them to listen to the stream, and the other one to listen to high-speed music so that I can actually do both. I'm trying to do this thing that Blue does where he listens to like 8 forms of media at the same goddamn time. But that'll allow me to like keep things moving, be able to be social, and also get stuff done, if that makes sense. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we'll see. So we'll work on Mandy's bed frame. I'll do some cleaning, do the dishes, and maybe see if we can't get the helmet cam. The helmet cam works. It needs some tweaks, but I need to make it so that I can actually see what you guys are looking at and see what you're saying at the same time without, I don't know, strapping my phone to my wrist or something like that. So I'm going to start up that raid right now. Is it not going to suggest? Do I have to at them? Maybe I have to at. Nope, only works if you're in. That person was in the channel. All right, let's see if this starts up. Zella, not Zilla. That's probably why it wasn't working. It is done. Ta-da. All right, I don't know how long that timer is, so I guess I'll just go through and thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I was not planning. I was really thinking about backing out, so I'm glad I didn't. We got to sit around and BS for a bit, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in this stream. So I'm like gung-ho about a game to play. Or there's a new patch. We could do Infection-Free Zone again in the future, but for the first 2 hours, I kind of want to chat. And past that, you know, if we've got other things I got to do, you know how life is. You got to be a responsible adult. Thanks, Blue. And thanks for everybody else for hanging out. As always, I am Fox Keegan of CurtailedComic.com. You guys are awesome for hanging out with me. Please send us some of that curtailed courtesy over to Renzilla here in the next couple of seconds. And if you're going to get something done or go to sleep, I hope it's productive. If you're going to rest up for the rest of the night or, you know, actually relax, I hope it is relaxing. Either way, until we see each other next time, which will probably be tomorrow at 8 p.m. my time. Stay safe, take care, and good night, everybody.